Hello, hello, hello. That one. Oh, okay, I ripped that. That's cool. Not cool. It's the side. I wonder how this goes in. Hi, Arlene. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? Well, thank you. Ah, Stephanie. How are you? And Vanessa. You ladies are up late. Me too. I shouldn't have. I laid down to go watch. I like this thing on public television about how they take the old houses, so like chateaus, and they make them into the bread and breakfast, bed and breakfast. I watched this couple, and I fell asleep, and I don't know why I fell asleep. I wasn't tired. I remember finishing the episode. All of a sudden, I woke up. What the hell? So Antarctica. My husband walked in this yesterday or today after work because he was on nights. He's like, "Oh, this feels like heaven," because that plant and it's so warm that him coming home to the air conditioner is a blessing to me. I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't want to work in a hot factory. He's like he doesn't win. He freezes during the winter, and he's too warm in the summer. I feel like my zero negative. Wow, it is cold then. See, I wouldn't do that much. Sorry, but no. Oh, damn. Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. I'll put it right there. Oh, yes, Arlene, you go lay down. We don't want that to happen. Ooh, I had one. I don't know where it was. All right, what color do I want to do? Do I want black? Or, you know what? I'm going to spice it up a little bit. I'm not going with black or white. I know it's a cool background, just for me to cover it up. Not all of it, but most of it. So, due to the fact that Sabrina also had a lot of what I had in my giveaway, like from Hobby Lobby clearance, I gave her the option of a $25 PayPal or the prize that she picked some. I let her pick. I kept the prizes that nobody's seen. I gave her that, and then she took one of the brayers for because she didn't have that, and one of the paints, and the rest I got to keep. So down the road, I may have another little giveaway for the 12 by 12 and the 8-inch brayer. One of these sets of paints. So, and a paper pad. So 90% of everything that I showed for Hobby Lobby, Sabrina already had. So, she doesn't know the other goodies that I had also in the box. So, I gave her them. And $25. I may have. Oh, I didn't want to get anything on it. Oh, I guess it's all right. It's not gonna matter. Not gonna matter. It's all right. Not going to matter by the time I'm done. That's dry there. Paper is pretty warm. Alrighty, let's put this over there. There's my glue. Alrighty. I am not going anywhere. Okay. What do I got here? Bits and pieces, bits and pieces. Alright, so I have this card, XOXO. It's like, I don't know where it's in there. Let's see. Not too curious. Save that. Something else. That's cool. Celebrate from Jay. So cool. I'm actually just going to try to get this part off. Oh, these were kind of cool. I saved them. The little pockets with a window. Oh, kind of cool. I'm going to do something. What else? I know. Oh, I have this card. That's just not a card. It's just a decorative piece. She believed she could, so she did. Do that. And I have to lost it. I know, isn't it? It's kind of cool. I lost the flower I wanted to use. It's right there. I cleaned off my desk, and anything laying on my desk that was little went in this dish. And that's what I'm using, picking through. Except I want to stamp out an image of a woman. I got it, the one I want, so I'll be right back. I'm going to put this aside. This kind of be like an art journal kind of bracelet that has that saying on. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to use this I just got. Oh, why am I wearing this under? So, grab that. Like, why did I come over here? Wow, and that's only from this side of the table. The other side. God, is that a sign of age? Fibo fog? What the hell is fibo fog? Fibo. Well, see, Scott and I believe we had COVID. I have fibromyalgia. And before it came out in the big yellow United States world, because Scott and I were sicker than a dog in December, beginning of January. And the headaches, the coughing, a whole 9 yards. We couldn't figure it out. Yeah, definitely got brain fog. And I swear, ever since then, I forget. Yep. I forget sometimes when I went to the kitchen. And it's just more accurate now. I said, and Scott said the same thing. I ended up from February, I want to say it was, Scott says December, January. I said February because I remember going to the doctor in March because I couldn't take it no more. And he swears to God it was January. Well, I don't argue anymore. I'm like, okay, you're right, whatever, you know. I get to the point with my husband and it's like, whatever. It's not worth the argument. So ever since then, I've had this forgetfulness more and more all the time. Oh. All I know is since I strained my back over a week ago, my feet cramping up in the pool. I've hurt. It hasn't gotten any better. Ooh. Sometimes, yeah. Funny, some timers. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I told my kids I'll have Alzheimer's. Be prepared. They're like, what? I'm like, I will be that by in old age or whatever. I will have Alzheimer's. I see the signs ahead of me already. And it's, I mean, I'm going to be 50 next year. And I said, I see signs of that already. So be prepared. Enjoy your mother. I think that's why I got so now that I write a lot of stuff down. I don't know why I feel that way, but I feel that way. So what's everybody doing? Nothing too exciting here with me. Another day in Tina's life, being a housewife. Living a dream. I did have a conversation with my landlord that wasn't pleasant today. Put him in his place. I think he thinks I'm dumb or something. I really do. Because he called me because my neighbors that live next door to me would like me to clean my clutter. And I went, what? It's like, yeah, they would like you to clean up your clutter. And I'm like, what clutter? And I'm thinking he's talking maybe the kids' swing, or their toys out in the back. No. Guess what they were talking about? Yep. My patriotic decorations in my front yard. And I totally went off. I said, have you been past the house yet? And he's like, no. I said, good, I'll send you a picture. I said, sure, I'll send you a picture. He said, my front yard. And I took a picture of my front yard, sent it to him, and then took a picture of their front yard, which has a giant grill that's too close to his residence. Their table, which, oh, and I took a picture of their patio table, which was chock full of Leineken beer bottles that sat there all weekend because they were gone all weekend. This is what their table looked like. And the garbage alongside their house going up their driveway. I said, you want to talk about my clutter? I took pictures. I walked around with, actually, I took pictures and then I walked around with a video from my front yard all the way to my back. What me and Scott just mowed, by the way, on Sunday. And I proceeded to tell him, if he continues to harass me in this matter, I was going to go seek an attorney's advice. Because I said, this doesn't sit well with me. This one, yeah, is not a happy camper. I'm going to use some of my sentiments tonight. Oh, yeah. You got an earful. My clutter. Because, see, in Green Bay, you can't. Yep. See, in Green Bay, you can't run a business out of the residential, okay? You have to get a permit. I mean, it's one of those tricky spots. And it all depends. Like, if I sell Avon, yeah, you're fine. Like me selling YouTube, you're fine. But if you are doing mechanical work in your garage, or selling multiple vehicles out of your driveway, it's against the law in the city of Green Bay. I don't know if that's all over, but I know it's not allowed here. So this neighbor guy, and I could care less. The man's making a buck, okay? He does it left and right. I could care two shits, be honest. Just keep your music down. I'll be fine with you, you know? And I proceeded to tell my landlord, well, if you want to start cleaning, saying something to me, then he better not be selling another vehicle, working on another car in his driveway, which I know is a city ordinance that you can't do it. Because then he's like, I said, and by the way, keep it up, Norm. I said, there is nothing in my lease that says I can't decorate my yard. There's nothing. And really decorate my yard will not look good to the fact that it's all patriotic. It's for 4th of July, Memorial Day. It's not going to look good. I said, my neighbors would rather look at my yard than look at theirs and look at all the activity that's going on in theirs. I said, I feel for you if they ever move out and you have to clean up. I said, we have a community shed. And he goes, yeah. I said, it's on my side. And I proceeded to tell him, that's not in the lease that we have that shed as a community shed. I decided to look. I said, due to the fact that it's on my side of the duplex, I want their junk out of the shed. You did not put that in a lease, that this was a community shed. It is on my side of my duplex. I said, and I want the junk out of the shed. The only thing that me and Scott have in that shed is a bicycle. I said, they have 7 motors out of vehicles in that shed. I want it out. And I want different locks put on that door. No longer be used. I want that out from my... See, I took my lease to my buddy's dad the other day. I have a whole list of piece of paper. He pissed me off that much the other day. He's in violation of like 16 state of Wisconsin's things right now as a landlord. 16. Because I've lived here 10 years. He's not come in and changed carpet. He's not painted every 3 years. That was the two big ones. To the fact that I have linoleum in my bathroom that he came in, instead of putting new linoleum, he patched it with glue, and now it came up again and broke off. And you could see black underneath it. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, keep it up, buddy. Keep it up. What do I want to do? Let's go around this. Call me and tell me and clean up my clutter. I said to Scott when I was telling Scott when he called me tonight, because Scott was at work when he called. I said he shut down real quick. Shut down real quick. And I said before they complained about my flag and my yard ornaments, they should have cleaned up their side of the yard. Well, I asked Norm straight out. I said, "What are they trying to do? Get me evicted so they can have their relatives move on this side? Is that what the game plan is?" And he's like, "What?" I said, "The only complaint I have about them," I said, "is their music." And I said, "Well, he says the cops are showing up at his house left and right. Why you keep calling cops?" I said, "I haven't called the cops on him since you told me back in November to call the cops." He goes, "You're not calling the cops on him?" I'm like, "No, doesn't pay. So if the cops are being called on him, it's not me." I said, "And you're hooked up. If your address has come up in a call log, has you went in?" So he goes, "Hang on a second." In a few minutes, he came back. He goes, "No." I said, "So the cops are not being called by me, because if I call the cops, it registers to this address when you call. So, and he's on a system that lets him know that if the cop's been there or in what address, if this address, my address or his address is called, even if I call the damn animal control." I said, "So there you go. So their little revenge on me for calling the cops on them last week wasn't me." Because there's 4 officers at their house last week. I found that out from, I missed it. I was like, I told Norm, "I don't know why the cops were there last week. I didn't even know the cops were there last week until the neighbor told me." Yep. So yeah, I said, "It's not me." "Well, he got fined." I'm like, "Well, that ain't my fault. What the hell did he get fined for?" He got fined for having too many vehicles in his driveway, unregistered, and blocking the sidewalk and people's aprons. I'm like, "Well, yeah, he does it all the time." What I mean is that here's the apron and here's the sidewalk, and he'll park a vehicle over the sidewalk. So if somebody's walking on the sidewalk, they have to walk around this way or walk around this way to get around, and you can't do that. I said, there's a lot of people walking these days. So if that happened, that's on him. Well, he keeps getting parking tickets. I'm like, "Well, don't park on the road. You can't park on the road from 2:30 till 6 o'clock in the morning in Green Bay. It's a city ordinance. What's that got to do with me?" "Well, he figures you're the one calling him." I'm like, "I ain't calling him." I said, "You better set his ass straight." Nope. I think what happened is my landlord last week or sometime got notified from the city of Green Bay if it continues, because they will go what they say is called nuisance. And if they keep responding to this resident, that side residents, they will classify it a nuisance, and he could lose his property. And there's not, it's and it don't take much. I found that out from the guy down the road that actually got it. He had to go to court and fight to keep his property, and he lost. Can you imagine that? Ooh, this one's marker's dying. He had to sell his property. I said to him, well, next time maybe you should check who you rent to and just not worry about the mighty dollar. Because the couple that live in that side are not the original couple he rented to. I called Norm and said, when did I get new neighbors? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I saw the neighbors move on and a whole different couple. Yeah. There's a whole new couple move in, I said, with kids. And he goes, what? He didn't even know that the people that moved in there moved out and moved in a whole different couple. And he didn't care as long as he got his money. Probably. Me and Scott are prepared. We were talking about it the other day that we're going to see how this year goes. If it continues by fall, we're going to maybe go look for somewhere else. We're getting tired of it. Thing is we live here for convenience because my father-in-law is 6 houses away. That's why we live where we live. And we really don't want to move. And I said to Norm, you should let the neighbors know they can do all they want. We're not moving unless you can evict us. I said, but you harassing me like this is very uncalled for when I've lived here 10 years. You never had this problem before, have you? I said, I lived next to Dee. I said, the guy that lived here lived on the other side before he bought a house. I said, Dee never had a problem with Scott and I. We lived next to each other for 5 years. He's had 3 tenants since Dee moved out. One went to jail. Then the one couple moved in. They moved out, and this couple moved in. We live next door to Dee. I called Dee the other day. I'm like, how long ago did you buy your house? He goes, 3 years ago. It's going to be my 4th year. So 4 years ago, Dee moved out. And we lived next to Dee all that time. And we will be here 10 years. I almost died when I looked at the lease. I'm like, oh my God, 10 years went by already. I was like, damn. So I said, you're going to take a 10-year people that have been in this place for 10 years over a couple that have been here too. And don't you think when you start having issues with a tenant that you've never had issues with before now, would be a smart to think, well, wait a minute. So then he got hold of my neighbor that lives on the other side of them. Because I was outside and she this earlier, she walks over to me. She goes, your landlord called me. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, really? He calls me too. He goes, yeah, he kind of mentioned that. He asked me to verify if there were any problems with da-da-da couple next door. And she proceeded to tell him that how loud they are and how she's picking bottle caps. She can't mow her grass on her side of them because she's, oh yeah, and bottle caps, beer bottle caps thrown in her grass that she's hitting with her lawnmower. And I laughed because I busted a laugh, and she goes, "What's funny about that?" I said, "No, because I got about 15 of them the other day. I have to walk my front yard where I have to mow my grass and make sure I don't have bottle caps from Heineken beer. I think it's Heineken's or whatever, green bottle. I don't drink beer, so I don't know. They're bottle caps." I said, "I have a handful." She's getting it too. So when they're drinking out there, they don't care. They pop the bottle and they just throw the cap. The only reason I know is all of a sudden I was mowing my grass and I hear ting, and I'm like, "What the hell was that?" And here I found it laying in the driveway. It was bottle caps. So now I have to, when I went to mow my grass Saturday, or Scott, I should say, I walked my yard and picked up 15 bottle caps. I sent them a picture of that. You want a drink? And it kills me is there's a garbage can right there. But they have a garbage can out there that they, yep. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, so he got an earful. He goes, she told me I gave him an earful. He didn't, I don't think he was too pleased. I don't think he called for that conversation, but he got it, she said. And she is having the city, she told me this, and she informed Norma this, that she is having the city come out to survey, and they'll do it so many times a year for nothing, to see where the property line is between her place and his place, and she wants him to put up a fence. And she told him, due to the fact that she's a residential, this is a rental, he has to help with the expense of the fence. Shrunk it out. And I'm like, go for it. Like, I want to, I'm like, because this is her investment house after her divorce. She bought this house and she's hoping within 4 to 5 years to sell this place after she retires. So she wants a fence put up. And she said she's in the process of filling out the paperwork, and he will be getting his paperwork from the city. I'm like, how'd you find out about that? I didn't know that. She goes, I didn't know about it too. And she goes, I didn't know about it either until a friend of mine who's a landlord told me about it. I said, so he would have to put up, it wouldn't be a 6-foot fence or whatever. It'd be a partial fence coming out because it's going out toward this street. I'm like, damn. But it'd be some sort of fence. I'm like, damn. I told her, I looked at her, I said, I would go for it. And she goes, I am. I'm like, he's probably like, damn, because he doesn't like sticking money in this property. I'm like, oh. So, because I went over there and I said, did you call the cops on him the other day? She's like, no. She goes, why? I said, because I guess they had, and I said, I guess they had cops over there? She goes, yeah, four of them. I'm like, wow, why? She goes, they were blocking the sidewalk, they were blocking the apron, they were blocking my half of my driveway, and that's what her driveway. And they were have a vehicle parked in the middle of the street and nobody could pass. So she goes, oh, I said, so it could be anybody that was driving by. And I said, this is BS. I'm calling the cops. And she goes, yep. I'm like, yeah, I said, because I got accused of it. I said, except he looked and it didn't come from my phone number on his email from the police department. I said, that could be somebody that was walking. I was like, this is BS. I said, That's crazy. I said to Norma, I said something. What? I said I get along with all my neighbors that are on all. I said both sides. I said, but I got along with these people, but they don't want to talk to Scott and I. They made that perfectly clear once they moved in that they didn't want nothing to do with us. Really antisocial. So I'm gonna put this like that, and I don't know where I got this, but I think it's cute. So I'm gonna go like that, right there. She believed she could, so she did. And I'm gonna put her right there. It's so cool. Yeah. Yep. Well, they haven't. See, I got a big backyard, which we rarely use our backyard. It's only Scott and I. I did when the kids were little. I had a swing set back there, but now I moved the swing set right behind the house. It's not in a way backyard. It's not like I have them every day like I used to. When I used to have them every day, I had the swing set in the way backyard with the pool and all that. So I don't use my backyard that much, especially the way backyard. And Scott and I mow our grass weekly. Sometimes we don't have to mow the backyard as much, the way backyard as much as the front yard. And we mowed grass on Sunday. Their side is looking like a hayfield. And they have leaves from last fall. Still up. They've never picked them up. They raked them up and they left them in a pile. They haven't done nothing. And so I said to Scott, I'm out sitting on the swing. What was it? Had to be Thursday because Scott was off this weekend. Yeah, Thursday. And I was swing, one of those nice outdoor swings. And I'm out there enjoying the nice weather, nice breeze, nice. And I'm in the swing, just chilling in the back because my yard is. You have the front half, and then you have the house, and then you have the section, and then it's the two garages, and then behind the two garages is more yard. So I'm sitting right behind my house, where the swing set sits now, and I'm just sitting there, and I look over and I see this guy, and he's in like a shirt and a tie, and he looks, and he couldn't get between. He's on their side of the duplex. And he couldn't get between the two openings of their garage, which is their garage is closer to that side of the duplex than mine. See, my side of the duplex at one time, the owner lived here. This was his side, the guy that built this duplex. So it's differently built than the one next door. He couldn't get through the space between the duplex and the garage to go in the backyard. So he comes walking up my driveway. And he's a city inspector. And he told me who he was, and he asked if he could walk around. And I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. But he didn't look around on me and Scott's side. He was on their side. And I guess they got fined because he had old tires. And that's what the landlord told me. Because that was another reason he got fined. Old tires. A truck cap. The leaves, the hell, there was something else. Norm told me, and the only thing he said to me, and he just mentioned it to me, and Scott has this metal step stool that sits outside our garage, and it's heavy, it's way heavy. I couldn't even move it. That he mentioned that maybe Scott should put that somewhere else. And I said, and I go, well, it was going to go in the shed. And then he goes, okay, I'm getting it. He said, the guy goes, put it in the shed. And I opened the shed and he goes, what the hell? I'm like, yeah. I said, these are these motors. They're theirs. I said, this is a community shed, but they've taken it over. Well, there's oil and gas leaking all in this shed. So, and I'm thinking, because the cops were there. I asked my neighbor, I said, when were the cops there? And she goes, Wednesday. She goes, I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday. I said, because the city inspector was out on Thursday. I said, because I seen him. I was outside. And then I got the phone call today. So I told Scott, I said, oh, by the way, I said, that step stool thing you have from work? Because, yeah. I said, we're going to have to move that. It's the only thing he told me I had to move. And you know what he told me? Move it so you can't see it from the road. Because right now, if you look down my driveway, you can see it. You're not supposed to. I'm thinking, oh my God. Never heard anything. You can't even have your garbage cans be seen by the road unless they're out. But, yep. So, they had a whole list. Because they have garbage going all the way up their driveway, which is whatever parts from vehicles. Yeah. So I think my landlord actually got nailed too. And the thing is they find the address and the person living address, but if they don't pay it, they go after the landlord. They'll hold it on their taxes. Yeah. That's going to be interesting. I found that out when I talked to the attorney. Because I called my buddy today and he's like, what? And I was telling him, he's like, well, you know what? They don't pay it. They'll put it toward the landlord's taxes. I'm like, oh, dang it. Yep. I'm like, that's funny. I'm thinking it's funny. Mm-hmm. I said, it called me bitch, and probably because he can't get a hold of them. Because I guarantee he probably got a letter on Monday about the city inspector out here is what I'm thinking. Because when he mentioned clutter and he said something about getting a notice in the mail. And I'm like, they might clutter. I said, you better verify that address. But and I called the city inspector because he gave me his card. I'm like, what clutter are you? And because thing is I didn't let my landlord know about the city inspector when he called me. But I had the city inspector's telephone number. So I called him and he returned my phone call. I said, what clutter do I need to move? And he goes, what are you referring to? Oh, yeah. He has no legal right to make us move. We've never been late on our rent. We've never broke anything on our lease. Yeah, he's screwed. I'll counter sue him. I'll make him take me to court. I love going to court, by the way. He'll end up paying me to move. So I called the city inspector after Norm called me about this clutter. He goes, I'd call your landlord back and have him refer to the piece of paper with the address. It's not your address that's on that piece of paper. So I have a feeling he got a letter from the city. So I called my landlord back. And he's like, what's up? I said, will you refer to your letter you got from the city? He says to me, how do you know I got a letter from the city? I said, because I was outside when a city inspector came through, and I said he gave me his card. I called him, trying to figure out exactly what the clutter you were referring to. I said, and it wasn't my address. I said it was a neighbor's. So I suggest you get your facts straight. Look at your piece of paper. Yeah, it wasn't my address. So I said to my landlord, so did the neighbors actually call you? Or is it because you got the letter from the city inspector in today's mail? He goes, no, they called me on, they called him on Thursday, right after the city inspector came through. I'm like, I didn't call the city. I said, I guarantee if you call the city inspector, you'll find out they probably, I said, because the cops were there on Wednesday. City inspector there on Thursday. Don't you think that's kind of falls in that? I would imagine. That would kind of make sense. For some reason, I said, oh, I don't know why the cops were there. I have no clue. I didn't call them. I said, I'm on my own business. I told him, I said, you know where I am 90% of the time? He goes, what? I said, in the first bedroom, in the duplex, in my craft room, on YouTube. And I said, I can probably get at least 20 people to verify that. How can you get 20 people? I said, because I'm live or I'm in somebody's live. Yep. Idiots. You know, my grandfather had the same, and I'm going to swear at the moment, and if I get penalized, I get penalized. He says there's a lot of idiots and assholes in this world. You know? And I'm come to realize that the older I get. I asked my landlord straight out if he wants me and Scott to move, and he said no. He just wants calm in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I said, for him, you want calm in the neighborhood? Then I said, because he must be getting help from the city. I said, you want calm in the neighborhood? Then I suggest you get a different tenant on that side. I said, you have all reasons to be able to evict them. There is no the COVID thing anymore. They can't use that. I said, even if they pay their rent, you're getting all these calls from the city and complaints. I said, you have every right. I said, I don't know what you're scared of. I'm not. I said, have you got one call? I asked him, have you ever got one call to this address for a complaint? One call in 10 years. One call, no, one call. I would like to know. He said no. The only call he's ever seen, or the two calls that he can remember ever being logged in from this address, is when I called animal control and I called for domestic violence. And a guy sitting under my tree after a Packer game. Yeah. But they weren't they weren't the same type of call. There was a guy underneath my pine tree one night, passed out. What do you do? Leave him out there? It's raining. I ain't gonna go out there. Scott was at work. I happened to look out my front window, and there was a guy passed out underneath my tree. So I called 911. And the thing is I never call 911 because I don't. Well, that time I did because I was like it was like 3:00 in the morning. There's a dude passed underneath my tree. It's sleet and rain and snowing. There's snow already on the ground, and I look out. I'm like, I said to the officer when they responded, I said, what is it with this tree? He goes, why? I said, because this is the second person that's passed out underneath this tree in my front yard after a Packer game. He goes, convenient out of the wind. He figures they're walking along, they're getting cold, and they go underneath the tree to hopefully stay out of the wind and the rain. And it was snowing and sleeting weather. And he probably passed out drunk. And they got an ambulance out for that guy. They asked me to go out and check out. Can you go out and check on him? I'm like, oh, I said to the lady on the 911 call is funny because they played it back. I said to the lady, there's a guy passed out underneath my tree in my front yard. I'd like assistance. And she goes, do you know if he's breathing? I'm like, I have no idea. She goes, will you go check? And I'm like, no. I said, I am home. I am a woman. And then she goes, do you know him? I'm like, if you know, and I went, you hear me go to the 911 operator. Do you think I'd be calling you if I knew him? No, I don't know him. I'm home alone. It's 3:00 in the morning. I am not going outside. Have you looked out the window? For one. Two, I don't know this man. Why would I put myself in danger for somebody? Sorry. No. I'm not going out and checking on him. I get 911 operators have a lot on their mind and a lot on jaws, but sometimes you need to use their common sense. A woman going out to check on a stranger underneath a tree. Oh, no, I don't think so. Not happening on my watch. Then she goes, is there somebody else home with you? It's like, are you half-ass listening, woman? I just said I'm home alone. I said that to the police officer. I said, I think they need to have these 911 operators in Green Bay reevaluated. And he's like, why? The officer did. Because I said to the one officer who I had no idea, I guess I don't know how the police department works, but I had 3 officers respond. And I said to one of the officers, because I had to do a statement, and I said during the statement that I think you guys need to have your 911 operators reevaluated or something. And he said, why? And I proceeded to tell him, and then he said, I'll be right back. And he went back into his car and came back and agreed with me. He had them play the 911 call. Because you hear me say I'm calling for assistance. There's somebody, you hear me, it's funny because he played it back for me too. You hear me say I'm calling for police assistance. There is somebody passed out underneath my tree. I am home alone. And then you hear her going into details. Do you know who he is? No, I don't know who he is. Do you know if he's breathing? No, I don't know if he's breathing. Can you go check? No, I'm not going to go check. I am home alone. I am not stepping out. Well, do you know who this person is? I'm like, why would I call? And you hear me say, why would I call you if I knew who he was? No, I don't know who this person is. Will you please go check? No, I'm not checking. No, ain't doing it. Today, I'm like, I said to her, I go to her. It's a Packer game day. Do you really think this person underneath my tree is sober? Yeah. I'm like, I don't think so. I am not going. She asked me 2 or 3 times to go check. And I'm like, no. I said, there should be officers up the ass in this area right now. Where I said, it shouldn't take long for them to get here. She goes, how do you know this, ma'am? I'm like, 5.5 blocks from Lambeau Field. It's Packer game day. I guarantee they're in the neighborhood already. Anywhere I said so. And then get your asses out here. But yeah, but the officer told me she should have never asked me this after I said I'm home alone. I don't know this person who's passed out underneath my tree to go out and check if he's breathing. Hell no. It's not like during the day, middle of a sleet storm. Yeah, he got put on a stretcher. He didn't even. Because an officer arrived before an ambulance. He was passed out cold. And the thing is, it's like the officer told me, he's lucky I found him because he thinks by the next morning, if I would have woke up, or when Scott would have got home at 5:30 in the morning, he probably would have been dead. Or 6 o'clock in the morning, or somebody walking by. Because the officer goes to me, what made you look out your window? I says, up. I looked out to see how much snow we were getting because I could hear it in my bedroom. I said, I happened to look out and like, what the hell is underneath my tree? So I opened my front door. I opened my door real lightly, locked the screen door, and turned on the yard light to look out my screen door. And I realized it was a body. I said to the guy, this is the second time somebody fell asleep underneath my tree. We're passed out. And he goes, what? And I'm like, yeah. I said, some girl passed out. I said, in the summer, my son phoned her. I said, and you could hear somebody calling some chick's name. So we yelled back. And it was his girlfriend passed out underneath the tree. I said, it's comical living. I said, seeing it. I always think, wow, I hope these people, I said, are so intoxicated. But he never even woke when they put him in an ambulance. Even when the officer tried to wake him, he was out cold. I heard him say when they got him on a switch, that ambulance stretcher thing, he finally goes, "Hey, what's going on? Just leave me alone. I'll sleep it off." I'm like, oh my God. The community, I tell you. I did tell Scott this neighborhood's getting worse and worse and worse. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Ooh, it was Tuesday today, wasn't it? I wonder if Aaron Rodgers showed up to practice. Or did he take the 39,000 or 89,000, whatever, fine today? That's the big news going around Green Bay. Will Aaron Rodgers show up for practice? I wonder if there's like codes when you call, when a police call comes in, when you respond to a resident. There's a certain number when you find out, like me calling 911, for the guy underneath the tree, if that's listed different than being called because your music's too loud and somebody called a noise complaint. If there's like a different, I should ask Chris that. Chris would know that. Chris is a buddy of mine who's a police officer. He'd probably be able to tell me that. There's got to be, I betcha. That's kind of cool. Do you know what I realized I did, though? I put this on backwards. Oh, my God. How can I? Oh. So let's see if we can get this up. Ooh. Yes. I'm a dork. Dude, it upside down. Woo. There we go. Yeah, I was going to say, because my... All of a sudden I looked up and I'm like, oh my God, I turned this the wrong direction. There we go. Glue that in. So I don't remember who gave me that. I wish I remembered. I put their name on it, but I don't remember who sent me that. So I'm using this old planner. I don't even know where I got it. I came across it the other day. And what I did, oh, I got this wrong. Hang on. Oh, man. Guess what? Well, I did the whole thing upside down. Because it's supposed to. So, oh well. I'll just use this one. Oh well. Shit happens. Okay. I don't know. I'm just going to use this. I'm going to keep it like this, though, so I don't put it in my book. Let me make sure I got this right. Okay, we're just going to go like that. So, Stay Wild is going to be funky. Let's see. I know I got this cool coffee. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to cut around it because it's really thick. So, oh, damn, my scissors drive me crazy. So I'm going to put that in the center, but I'm going to cover up. So I'm going to cover a lot of this up with, who knows? Let's see what I got sitting here. Let's see. Yeah, my. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Let me do some rips. Let's see. Actually, I like the flowers, even if they're funky. It's just I don't like. I'm going to paint a little bit and add some of my paper. So let's put there, the back. Grab some of my paint with my brush. I think I'm going to add, oh, that over there. And teal. Right here. And then I'm just doing the edges. Teal. So my daughter's mad at me. She'll get over it. And her dad. I don't like when my kids are not talking to me. And it's such a stupid thing, too. Am I the only one that doesn't like when their kids get to get upset and they quit talking to their parents for. Yeah. Sure. I wish I could get mad at my mom. I mean, I could, but it would. Hey, she's not here to learn. But she is upset with me and her dad because she wanted us to watch the kids in July. Okay. Let's see. I forgot what weekends. Yeah. The 15th, the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. And Scott told me no. When I discussed it with my husband, he's like, no. And so when I informed her yesterday, because she called me, okay, she says to me, this is how it started. She calls me and she goes, get your planner out. I'm like, okay, why? She goes, I need you to put this down in your planner because I need you to watch the kids for a wedding. She didn't ask me. She didn't say, hey, Mom, I was wondering if you possible could babysit the kids for this wedding, blah, blah, blah. She just assumed that it was going to be like that, okay? And I said, oh, by the way, speaking of that, I said, she's like, what? I said that weekend in July. He goes, yeah. Dad said no. Because I always say, this is what I tell her. When she asks me, I always say to her, let me talk to your dad. And she goes, but it's Sam's birthday. I'm like, Dad said no. Scott is on nights that weekend. And it's hard. When your husband works 12 hours and he works nights. And the kids aren't used to that. They are very loud. He doesn't sleep well, which is amazing because my husband usually sleeps through anything. But Scott's like, no. So she got an attitude with me. Just like, then never mind. And then she hung up on me. Because she called me a messenger. And I'm like, you know what? I ain't dealing with this. Oh. So she doesn't talk. She's not talking to me. So when Scott got home today, I asked Scott, did Demi talk to you? Yeah. She didn't like what I had to say. I'm like, okay. Because then she says to me, well, can I talk to Dad about it? I'm like, yeah, talk to Dad about it. Dad says it's okay, then fine. Well, she must have talked to her dad about it, and she got the same answer from him as he's like, no, I'm on nights. Pick a different weekend and I'll think about it. But it's Sam's birthday weekend. Scott goes, it's not my fault. But she always gets an attitude like we always say no. I mean, I just had her kids in April when they went to Hawaii for 7 days. And then I had them a weekend in May while they went overnight. For one night. They went away overnight. She acts like I never take the grandkids. Every time, and Scott told her that, every time Mom and I say no, you give us an attitude, you guilt trip Mom. And she does. She guilt trips me. My daughter's very good at that. He goes, and I'm telling you, no. Stay home. Because my daughter likes to go. My son-in-law, he'd rather stay. So Scott this afternoon calls my son-in-law. Hi, Lisa. Calls the son-in-law and says to the son-in-law, what are your plans for the weekend that you want Mom and I to watch the kids all weekend? And he says to my husband, he goes, what are you talking about? Scott goes, and rattled the number, or July, whatever. He goes, I can't take out, because my son-in-law just got a brand new job. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, I can't take any time off. I just started this job. That's in my probation period. Why would I take days off? She goes, is she crazy? So Scott goes to my son-in-law. So you had no idea about this? He goes, no. And I'm not taking any days off work. Hi, Lisa. Yeah. So my son-in-law had no clue. He goes, well, she's upset at mom and I. Yeah, because it was the 15th and the 16th. Sam's like, no, I'm not taking off the 15th, 16th of on a new job that I'm on a probation period for 90 days. Ain't happening. So I said to Scott, I said when Scott told me that. So then I got a message this afternoon. Why is Dad talking to Sam about this? I'm like, I don't know. He called you. He has the right to call you his son-in-law. What? So she must have found out that whatever she wanted to do, the son-in-law is like, no, it ain't happening. So yeah, so she's got an attitude with us right now. And my philosophy is she'll get over it. And I do a lot. The thing is like Scott says, we do a lot with, especially me, I do a lot with my grandkids. For her to give me an attitude because I said no is very uncalled for, because he ripped her to, because in between him calling Sam, my husband called our daughter, and he ripped my daughter. He ripped her today. And for my husband's the one that go ask your mother what she say, kind of. He doesn't like the conflicts. I handled the conflicts. He's the one that was the cool parent. I was the one that had to handle the conflicts, deal with all that, that type of parent. That was me. I was the mean one. Daddy was doing it, Well, Trump felt different, because when Scott called her, I could hear him ripping her about guilt tripping me and making me feel bad for something he said no, because she was making me feel like crap. And he's like, I'm the one that said no. Don't blame your mother for this. You act like we say no all the time. Quit being childish. Grow up. Stay home, he said. And then I heard him say something. Because I had them in February when they went on their anniversary weekend, which was only supposed, and I always picked, because I'm not young anymore. Having 3 kids under 10, it's exhausting, And Scott was supposed to be home that weekend, and their truck broke down in Michigan. I remember talking about that. And then I ended up with vertical. Scott knew I had vertical when he left to go assist them. And it wasn't a pleasant weekend for me when I had grandkids. Not that my grandkids are bad or hard to take care of. Okay? I got good grandkids. They're well-behaved grandkids. But, like Scott said, it doesn't always have to. They have other grandparents. I can't help it. Like Scott says, we can't help it that Sam's parents are useless. It's not on us. And Scott goes, and that's when Scott said to her, I work nights, Diamond. And this is when I heard him say to Diamond, I work nights that weekend. Should be considerate the fact that I work 12 hours and I'm on nights, that I do not want to have to deal with the grandkids this the weekend where I work nights. He goes, and I have to sleep during the day. Yeah, we can send them outside, but they're not going to stay outside all the time. I'm sorry. You should understand that. And Scott said you could tell, because he had her on Messenger too, and I was standing off to the side. He got the same, like, fine, whatever. Scott goes, don't you for my husband, because what he says to her, don't you whatever me, he says in that tone. And he told her to grow the hell up. And then he called the son-in-law. Don't you whatever me, he says. And I'm like, uh-oh. I think I'm going back to my craft room. I went right back to my craft room. I was like, damn. Because you know what? I'll be the one in the bed now. Yep. Just like a child. He said, quit acting like a spoiled child. Don't you, and then, don't you whatever me. And I'm like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm going back to the craft room. It's one thing you don't do to my husband is the whatever. Yeah, so she's not talking to Scott and I. So I said to Scott, are we going to see the kids play soccer tomorrow? He says, I think it's best we stay away. I'm like, but that's not fair to grandkids. So he said, we'll see. He said to me, he goes, we'll see how what tomorrow brings, as in today, Wednesday, today, Wednesday. If we'll go see them play. Because they're almost done. They only got 2 weeks left. But when I heard him say, don't you whatever me, woo, I knew it's time to leave the room. Yep, time to go back in the craft room. He comes in by me, he goes, saw you. He goes, how do you say that? It was funny. He goes, I knew you were listening to the conversation. He knew I was out there listening. I'm like, yeah. He goes, and then you like disappeared. I'm like, when I heard you say, don't you whatever me, I knew it was time to go back to the craft room. Safer there. I didn't want the end of that conversation on me. Then he goes, come back at me because of her attitude. And then all of a sudden I heard him talking to somebody else. So I went back out there. And that's when he called the son-in-law. Son-in-law's like, no, it's not happening. I told her that. And that's what he said to me. That's what Sam said. I told her that the other day, that I was not taking off work for 2 days on a job. I'm still have 90-day probation period. He's like, I ain't messing this up. This is a $25 an hour job my son-in-law got. And within 2 years, he could be making $30 an hour. He's like, I am not messing this up. I am going to cross, like he said, he told Scott, I am crossing my T's and dotting my I's and being behaved to keep this damn job. This is he's like, this job's too good to mess up. I mean, these days, where do you find a job that pays $25 an hour and could be making $30? Like he said, within 2 to 3 years, $30 an hour. He goes, she wants me to ask to take off right away in a 90-day period. Bullshit. He's like, I told her that. So I guess that's probably not a good household. I guess Sam's like, don't worry about it. I told Mom not to worry about babysitting. Then I'm happy because this is what it is. This is what it is. Both Diamond and Sam's birthday are in July. Instead of giving them a birthday present, I usually give them a free weekend so they can, for their birthday. Except this year, I had the kids in February, which I gave them for their anniversary. And then I had the kids while they went to Hawaii. Yeah, Diamond did pay me $300, but I ain't smart. And I said, she's like, but she tried to throw that back at me. And I said to her, Diamond, this year is different. And I said, and you already used half a weekend. I said, I only owe you a day. She was like, what do you mean? I said, you asked me to watch the kids overnight for Ben's birthday. I said, you were supposed to be back in Green Bay by noon. Yeah, you weren't. 2:00. The last sale that I had with Bima, the kid literally just left 5 minutes before that sale started. And I told her she had to be home by noon because I knew the sale started at 2:00. She didn't show up here till 2. So you already used half a weekend. So you only have a day and a half for your birthdays. And that pissed her off more. And yeah, family, I tell you. I love my daughter, but she gets this chip on her shoulder attitude toward me and my. Well, now I told Scott, you know what I told Scott? I said, I'm glad she's mad at you, not me, because she's more mad at him than me, because he's the one that said no for a change. He goes, oh, thanks. But he's the one, Scott's the one's like, no. Like, he's like, no. Stay, you know? He's like, no. Because, but I knew when I heard him say, don't you whatever me, I'm like, I'm going back to craft room. I'm out of here. I knew it wasn't a good conversation. It wasn't going down. I'm out. But yeah, that weekend that I had the kids in February when their vehicle broke down in Michigan, I had vertigo. And I felt it coming on, and I told Scott, and then we get the phone call about their vehicle. And Scott felt bad when he left. There was nothing, there was nothing he could do. They were stuck. He had to go. And I was miserable. Oh, I was miserable. When they got home, they didn't get back here in town until 10 o'clock Sunday evening. And I was actually, with the vertical I had, I was throwing up. But I have to give my grandkids credit. They knew I wasn't feeling good. Hi, Ariel. They knew I wasn't feeling good. They watched Disney's. They didn't argue. I was laying in my room in complete darkness. And I'd randomly get up and check. I'd start trying to go down the hallway to check up on them, and I'd have to grab the wall. That's how bad that was the last one I had. But I haven't had a bad one, because I get vertical all the time, where it's just so you know, you have that little dizzy spell. This one was full-blown vertical, migraine, and sickness all in one. My girlfriend Julie came over and gave me some medication. She couldn't stay. She just felt so bad. She's like, I was talking to her, and I'm like, yeah, I got vertical bad. So she came over and gave me some stuff to help with it. And she felt so bad because I'd look at her talking, and I'd have tears running down my eyes. And she felt so bad that she's like, man, if I didn't have to go to work, she goes, and she goes, and she didn't want to use, because she goes, and I can't. She goes, and I can't call in. She goes, or I'd call in. And I'm like, no, just go to work. I'm fine. She goes, you are not fine, girl. And I'm like, oh. But she gave me some pressure medication over. I never heard of it. I can buy it over the counter. It helped, though. It helped a little bit, but damn. Yeah, so that's the life and times of Tina right now. The daughter's not talking to me or her dad. The grandkids are still talking because Coda called me this afternoon. Because he had to catch up. My grandson is so damn cute. Coda calls me all the time. Ever since he got Sam's old phone and they set him up where he could call me on Messenger, he calls me all the time. All the time. Just to watch him play video games. That's what he does. So I sat here with him on Messenger, and I was putzing here, and he was playing away, and he's like, did you see that, Nana? And I'm like, yep. Yep, I seen it. I did, What'd you think of that? I'm like, that's a cool move. I didn't see it. I'm going to tell you. I thought this was so cute. Sending crafty hugs your way. Kids. I said to Scott, I said, I can't wait. Okay, I shouldn't say that because I don't want to rush this. But there will come a day where my daughter will be a grandma, and I hope it's 3 times that. She gets it from her daughters or son, how she treated, had the attitude like she had with us, because she said she had a bad spell of it after going to the dentist, and they basically flipped her upside down in a chair, took her a week to take her. Oh, damn. Yeah. Well, I didn't realize I've had vertical since I was a kid. I didn't realize that it was called vertigo because of my eyes, having all my eye surgeries. And I was in my doctor's office for an exam, and I came in that morning, and he looked at me, and he says, "Tina, what is wrong?" He said he could look, he saw it on my face. And I said, "I am so dizzy." I said, because Scott was holding, kind of leading me in like a dog. Because if he let go of me, I couldn't stand it because I'd go down. He thought, Scott goes, and then sometimes my legs get like that with my sciatica. So my doctor thought it was my sciatica. And I'm like, no, this ain't my sciatica. And he says, describe what you have. And I explained it's vertigo. I was on medication, but I didn't like it. I don't like medication. And so I was like, I ain't taking this. And it's not like I get a steady of it. I don't know what brought, usually this time around when I had it back in February, I don't know what brought it on. Usually, and I have really bad migraines. And I can tell when I'm having a bad migraine before I go into the migraine, because I feel physically sick. I don't have an appetite. And I felt that, and I said, oh, shoot, I'm going to get a migraine. I said to Scott, I'm going to have to close myself in the bedroom. He goes, why? I said, I think I'm getting a migraine. And he goes, I said, because I have no appetite or nothing. And I feel like if I ate something, I'd get physically sick. And that's how I feel my migraines coming on when I have a real bad migraine. Well, it wasn't a migraine. I got vertigo. Bad. Man, bad. I've had it like 2-3 times bad vertigo. This one was a bad one. So, and I'm like, Scott felt so bad. I mean, I bet you, he's like, told Diamond, I get on the road, you got to call your mom once in a while because she's got vertigo bad. He goes, and I left her in that state. And she did. I'll give Diamond credit. She called me off and on that day. Told the kids, you guys got to be good. Nana's not feeling good. Yeah, Papa said that to us. We know. And they were good. I have to give my grandkids credit. They were angels. They didn't argue. They watched Disney. I let them have my laptop, let them have my tablet. Each one had a device. They watched a lot of YouTube. So they were good that way. Let's see. We're going to put that right there. I actually want to decorate underneath before I really do this. I got to get it done. Oh. Where did I put those new stencils I just got? They're over here somewhere. There they are. I got these from Donna's sale. They're kind of cool, so let's see what I can use. I usually don't buy paper stencils, but I thought for $2, what the hell? So we got like a banner. Got like a leaf. That's kind of cool. Another banner. Ooh, sun. A flower. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Okay, how's this open? Okay. Got that design. Kind of not what I'm looking for right now, but they're cool looking. Another banner. Oh, that's kind of cool. Possibly this one. That's like a kind of like a heart shape. Okay, what's this one? Oh, fleur-de-lis, or however you say that, fleur-de-lis. Okay. So I got a thing I'm going to put these in. somewhere. So I'm going to use this one. Right there. Good. You know what? I'm not going to use that. I'm going to put these back. I'm actually going to find me a thing to put these in later. It's not what I'm looking for, but I know what I'm going to get now. I have an idea. I just have to get it. See? Use this. Move this down just a smidgen. Come on. Right off that edge, man. There it goes. Okay. That's pretty good right there. Okay. Ah, and then I move it. Okay. I had to go to bed. I don't know if you were still on when. All right, Steph, good night. I was just going to ask if you were watching Jersey, if she ever did get her Walgreens email. I had to go to bed. Ah. Oh, there. One more time. Got that one. Oh, I forgot that one. Cool. See, I always add where I think it needs one. You what? I'm saying, I were you watching Jersey this morning? Because I had to go. She was waiting for an email to go to Walgreens. I wonder if she got her email. Why? Doing Zentangle or whatever it's called. Kind of, I guess. Same pattern over and over, from my understanding. Which I call doodling. I like how they come up with names for stuff that people have been doing for years. And you're like, there's a name for it? Night, night. I'm like, I've been doing that for years. There's a name for that? Okay. It's tomorrow or today the 9th? Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. That's right. I got that appointment. Man, these months are going way too fast, in my opinion. They can slow down a little bit. Yeah. Kind of cool looking. Kind of cool looking. think I'm gonna do a delusion day. I haven't did a delusion day in a long time. I'll do that tomorrow. Or later today, I should say. Delusion. Oh. Trying to put that down. Just happy day at the end. Check. I got ahead of myself. And add some of my own other pieces here. Okay, I do want to put that there, so I know that's right there. And put that right there. There. So, move it over a little bit. Down. Happy day. Happy day. Okay. And that one going this direction. That work. Actually, we're going to cut this a little down. That one. Just that. And I'm going to have this piece coming down here. That looks cool. That looks cool. There we go. Okay. I think I want to move this one here. And then I'll put that one there. Looks cool. Hopefully I gotta use tape on this because it's plastic. So, hang on. Oh. Okay. Oh, it's out of tape. Ouch. What type of frame? Let's see. We're going to 6, 9, 21. 6, 9, 21. Good place to date them. Alright, cool. And well, that's it for tonight. That's fun. I hope you guys do too. I've got a few people watching that aren't talking. So I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I think I'll go watch a movie. I haven't watched a movie in a while. It seems like forever. No. I have no clue. I don't sleep well when the husband's here, so I will probably talk to y'all later. I do have this. This is friendly challenge. I'm going to do. I got the scent and a swap, and the note is so cute. And it says, challenge, decorate this jumbo clothespin. So I'm going to do it. I'll do it. I've decorated clothespins before. But I want to thank each and every one of you who came in, chilled with me for tonight. As always, be happy, be kind, be safe, be funny, be crafty, and bye for now, everybody, and good night.